Hello YouTube! Welcome to Ellis is Happy on YouTube, where I help you find your happiness in order for you to show others how to find theirs. Bam! So, we're talking about anger today. Dealing with anger and managing anger on Ellis is Happy on YouTube. I'm going to start off by diving straight into a metaphor, an analogy. So, think of a bucket. A red bucket, a pail. This bucket represents, in this metaphor, your capacity to intake and deal with intense emotions. And at least today we're talking about anger. This bucket, right? And in this metaphor, I'm going to be referring to your emotions, aka anger, these intense emotions, as water. In life, let's go back to our red bucket again. Your bucket is sitting under an endless, continuous flowing faucet. Now, this represents that in life, you will continuously be having to deal with this constant flow of water, aka intense emotions. And just imagine that the faucet is a little bit broken. It's not necessarily a constant flow, it is a continuous flow. But sometimes there's happy emotions, sometimes there's a little sad emotions, and sometimes there's a big old shitbag of intense anger. So, if you understand the law of physics, or even if you're a mere toddler and have tried to fill up a pail of water, or a bucket of water, you understand that there is a top of the bucket. There's a point in which you can no longer fill the bucket with water. There is a point in which you can no longer fill your capacity with things like anger, intense anger, without having the water or your emotions spill over. What do I mean by spill over? Spilling over can refer to a myriad of things, including violence, including yelling, including being a road rage master. All these things that manifest in your body, through your body, because you don't take the time to deal with and manage your anger. When you go through life as you get older and older and older, and you don't take the time to get this big old pail of bucket, emotion, energy, and just try to empty it every once in a while in order to get, the new water, the inflow, the new emotion. So you don't become an old, grunched up, face, I hate everything person. You see those people. And sometimes they're not necessarily older folks. I know people, I'm in my early 20s, I know people like that. Don't get me wrong, I do know people like that. And it's just because in that it's not really their fault that, as a society we're not taught how to deal with our anger. It's just that they're a product of that overflow of energy, that overflow of water. I hope you're following me. So let's dive straight in. Whenever you're feeling anger, the first step is to recognize it. Now, one thing to understand about anger is that it's an emotion. It's angry energy. So, most people try to think their way out of it. But what people don't realize is that it might come in through the mind, through perception, but it comes out and results in your body. Okay? That's something that I feel like needs to be clear. So, acknowledge it. Whether it be from a bad exchange with your boss, or a disagreement that you had with your friend, or someone just cut you off in traffic, whatever it might be. And you may notice, especially for those folks of you, I'm like a cowboy. For those of you, you might notice that don't really take the time to deal with their anger, or might not have tried this process out yet. You may notice that the things that make you angry might just be the little things. But again, just going back to that bucket, it's just because you're not empty/open enough to take in new emotion such that your shit's spilling over. Anyway, so step 1, recognize and acknowledge the anger. Step 2, immediately or as soon as possible, sit down and break out your notebook or whatever, or your calendar and your phone or whatever you use to schedule time to deal with this shit. Schedule a time, it could be 10 to 15 minutes. In the same day that you get angry, you feel anger, and schedule a time to deal with it. In that box of time, you're going to put a name of an activity, a physical activity that you personally can become intense at. Like biking, for example, or something as simple as typewriting or, handwriting, whatever it may be. Basketball. I use working out as one of them, as in these situations. So schedule a time for that. Step 3, well, before we move on to step 3, I know it might be a hassle, and a lot of you may be saying, well, why do I have to schedule it? It's because most of us, as most of us are adults, we have shit to do. So we can't necessarily step out of the situation in which we're getting angry in and deal with it as quickly or as immediate as we would like to. That's why in this process, when you're scheduling it, you're not internalizing it per se, you're just putting it on pause so you can deal with it effectively, a lot more effectively, later. So step 3. Now it's time for you to go, for example, on your bike ride. Right before that you start going, step 3, it's a very subtle but very important step. Start to remember and start to channel that angry energy back up again. Get that intensity up and get that shit in your mind, and then get that shit in your soul right before you're about to go, for example, on this bike ride. Once you start feeling it and once you start remembering the feeling or the person that made you mad, step 4, do that shit with all your fucking might, because using this activity, consciously thinking of how you were angry, using this activity to discharge and release and dump out that bucket of water is something that will, as you'll soon see after, will help you out tremendously. Take as much time as you want, or if you're on a time constraint since you scheduled it, take up to however long you scheduled it for. Step 5, once you're done consciously, fully engaged in discharging and releasing it by being conscious of knowing that you're using this activity to, again, release this energy, release this angry energy back up into the world. Step 5 is very crucial, in which you have to accept to be done when you're done. That's basically it. Basically move on when you're done. Shout out to my friend Lemmy Garcia. She's the one that wanted me to do a video on this. I hope this helps, Lem. So, I know that was a lot of information. I have a lot to say. But I want to give it to you in such a way where it's understandable, quick, and easy to get. So that's pretty much it. This has been Ellis is Happy on YouTube. Thanks for watching, and as always, like, comment, and subscribe. My mission is to help create. Let's try that again. My mission is to create a better world by helping people like you, the viewer, find their happiness. Let me help you find your happiness so you can join me in showing others how to find theirs.
See you next time.